Something powerful is happening beneath the surface of this connection, something that has been building quietly, patiently, almost invisibly, and now the energy is shifting in a way that can no longer be avoided. Listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, especially if you have been feeling a strange emotional tension lately, a feeling that something important is about to change, a sense that silence can no longer continue the way it has been. Don't scroll, listen to this, because soulmate connections often reach moments where truth becomes too strong to ignore, where emotions become too deep to hide, where avoidance becomes impossible because the bond itself continues pulling both souls toward clarity. You may have felt distance, hesitation, or confusion before, but something inside this connection has continued growing, even in silence, even in separation, even in moments where communication felt uncertain. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because when a soulmate connection reaches a turning point, the universe often begins arranging circumstances that bring everything into the open. What was once left unsaid begins demanding expression. What was once postponed begins moving forward. What was once uncertain begins revealing truth that can no longer remain hidden. Listen to this. Because the energy between two people who are spiritually connected does not simply disappear, it transforms, it evolves, it continues working quietly until both individuals are ready to face what their hearts have been feeling all along. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe often allows emotional tension to build when something meaningful is about to be revealed. You may have noticed signs appearing recently, moments that feel too intentional to be coincidence, moments where your intuition becomes stronger, moments where your awareness feels sharper than usual. Angel numbers may have appeared unexpectedly. 111 reminding you that a new chapter is beginning. 222 encouraging emotional balance before important conversation. 555 signaling that change is already unfolding even if you cannot yet see how everything will resolve. These signs are gentle reminders that something significant is aligning behind the scenes. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now, because soulmate connections are not meant to remain unresolved forever. Emotional truth always finds a way to surface, even when both people try to avoid difficult conversations, even when fear delays clarity, even when uncertainty creates temporary distance. Listen to this, because what feels like tension now may actually be transformation. Something within this connection has reached a point where honesty is becoming necessary, where feelings can no longer remain hidden without creating emotional imbalance. Don't scroll, listen to this, because when two souls are connected deeply, the universe often creates moments that encourage growth through truth. What once felt complicated may soon feel clear. What once felt uncertain may soon feel understood. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now. Because the connection you feel has not disappeared, it has been evolving quietly, preparing both of you for a moment where everything begins making sense. Listen to this, because sometimes the biggest emotional shifts happen right before clarity arrives. You may feel nervous, curious, hopeful, unsure, all at the same time, because part of you senses that something important is about to be revealed. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because soulmate connections often create situations where avoidance becomes impossible, where emotional honesty becomes the only way forward. Something about this bond continues calling attention back to what truly matters. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now. Because even when communication feels uncertain, the connection itself continues guiding both individuals toward understanding. Listen to this, because the universe does not create deep connections without purpose. There is always growth, always awareness, always transformation unfolding beneath the surface. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what you are feeling right now may be the beginning of clarity that answers questions you have been holding for longer than you realize. Something meaningful is unfolding, something that will reveal why this connection has felt impossible to completely ignore. And the truth that is about to surface may finally show why this moment had to happen exactly the way it did. Something has been quietly building between you, something that could not stay hidden forever, something that has been growing stronger each day even when nothing obvious was being said. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Because when a soulmate connection reaches a critical point, the universe often creates circumstances that force emotional truth to come forward. Listen to this, because avoidance can only last so long when two souls share a bond that continues pulling them back toward each other, back toward understanding, back toward the feelings that neither of you has been able to completely ignore. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the tension you may be sensing right now is not random. It is the result of emotions that have been quietly strengthening beneath the surface. You may have felt moments where the connection felt unresolved, moments where something felt unfinished, moments where your intuition kept telling you that the story between you is not over yet. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because soulmate connections often create turning points where emotional honesty becomes necessary for growth. What was once easy to avoid begins feeling impossible to ignore. What was once delayed begins demanding attention. What was once uncertain begins revealing deeper meaning. Listen to this, because when two people are spiritually connected, distance does not always weaken the bond. Sometimes distance intensifies awareness of what truly matters. You may have noticed signs appearing recently, subtle reminders that something important is shifting. Angel numbers may have appeared during moments when your thoughts felt especially focused on this connection. 111 reminding you that new beginnings are possible. 222 encouraging emotional balance before important changes. 333 appearing as reassurance that growth is happening even when clarity feels delayed. 555 signaling that change is already in motion even if the outcome has not yet fully revealed itself. These signs are not coincidence. They are confirmation that something meaningful is unfolding. Don't scroll, listen to this, because soulmate connections often move through phases where emotional truth must be acknowledged in order for the connection to evolve. You may feel a sense that something important needs to be expressed, a sense that something has remained unsaid for too long, a sense that clarity is approaching even if you do not yet know what form it will take. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because emotional tension often appears when feelings become too strong to continue being ignored. Something about this connection continues drawing attention back to what truly matters, back to what still feels meaningful, back to what still feels unresolved. Listen to this, because the universe often creates situations that bring emotional truth to the surface when both individuals are ready to face what they feel honestly. You may feel anticipation mixed with uncertainty, curiosity mixed with hesitation, hope mixed with caution. These emotions often appear when something significant is about to shift. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what feels uncomfortable right now may soon become the clarity that helps both of you understand the purpose of this connection. Soulmate bonds often create lessons that strengthen emotional awareness, helping both individuals recognize what kind of communication truly feels authentic. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because sometimes the biggest breakthroughs happen right after moments of confusion. What once felt complicated may soon feel simple. What once felt uncertain may soon feel clear. Listen to this, because emotional truth does not disappear when ignored. It waits until the right moment to reveal itself. Don't scroll, listen to this, because something about this connection has continued existing quietly even when circumstances felt unclear. Something about this bond has remained present even when communication felt distant. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because the connection you feel has not been random. There has always been something meaningful beneath the surface, something that continues encouraging reflection, encouraging understanding, encouraging growth. Listen to this, because soulmate connections often reach moments where silence can no longer continue the same way. Something shifts. Something changes. Something becomes impossible to overlook. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because the energy between you may already be guiding both of you toward conversation, toward honesty, toward clarity that reveals why this connection has felt so difficult to completely release. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because what is unfolding now may be the moment where emotional truth begins replacing uncertainty. Something important is moving into the open. Something that will finally explain why this connection has continued feeling significant despite everything that has happened so far. Something inside this connection has reached a point where silence is no longer comfortable, where distance no longer feels natural, where emotions that were once hidden are now beginning to surface with intensity that cannot be ignored. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Because when a soulmate connection reaches this level of emotional pressure, the universe often creates situations that make honesty unavoidable. Listen to this, because what has been building quietly between you has not disappeared, it has only been waiting for the right moment to reveal itself in a way that creates clarity instead of confusion. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because sometimes when feelings become too strong to suppress, something happens that forces both people to finally acknowledge what they have been sensing all along. You may feel that something is about to shift, something is about to be said, something is about to come into the open that changes how everything feels moving forward. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because soulmate connections often create emotional tension when truth has been delayed for too long. The connection begins asking for resolution. The energy begins asking for clarity. The silence begins asking to be broken. Listen to this, because avoidance can only continue until the emotional weight becomes impossible to ignore. When two souls share something meaningful, the universe often ensures that unfinished emotional chapters eventually find their way toward understanding. Don't scroll. Listen to this. Because you may have noticed your intuition becoming stronger recently, your thoughts returning to this connection more often, your awareness feeling sharper than usual. Something inside you senses that this story is not finished yet, that something important still needs to be acknowledged. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because emotional truth often rises to the surface when the timing becomes aligned for growth. You may feel anticipation mixed with uncertainty, curiosity mixed with hesitation, but underneath everything there is a quiet awareness that something significant is approaching. Listen to this, because the universe often sends signs when emotional shifts are about to occur. You may have noticed repeating angel numbers appearing during moments when your thoughts feel connected to this person. 111 appearing as a sign that a new chapter may be beginning. 222 appearing as reassurance that balance is being restored. 333 appearing as confirmation that emotional growth is taking place even when clarity feels delayed. 555 appearing as a signal that change is already unfolding even if the outcome has not yet fully revealed itself. These signs often appear when something meaningful is preparing to move forward. Don't scroll, listen to this, because soulmate connections are not meant to remain unresolved forever. Something always shifts. Something always changes. Something always brings truth into the light when the time is right. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because the emotional intensity you may be sensing is not random. It is often the result of feelings that have continued growing quietly even during moments of distance. Sometimes separation creates deeper understanding of what the connection truly means. Listen to this. Because the universe often creates turning points when emotional awareness becomes strong enough to create transformation. You may feel that something needs to be expressed, something needs to be clarified, something needs to be understood so that the connection can either move forward with honesty or release what no longer aligns. Don't scroll, listen to this, because clarity always arrives when both individuals are ready to face what they feel without avoidance. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because the connection you feel has continued existing beneath the surface even when communication felt uncertain. Something about this bond continues drawing attention back to what still feels meaningful. Listen to this, because soulmate connections often create moments where emotional truth becomes impossible to ignore any longer. Something shifts within both people. Something becomes undeniable. Something becomes clear. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because what is unfolding now may be the beginning of the conversation, the realization, or the emotional breakthrough that changes everything. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because sometimes the most important chapters begin right after the moment when everything feels uncertain. The tension you feel now may be the sign that something meaningful is finally moving into the open. Listen to this. Because the universe does not create connections with this level of emotional depth without purpose. And the truth that is about to surface may finally reveal why this bond has been impossible for either of you to completely ignore. You may not see it clearly yet, but something significant is already beginning to move behind the silence, like a quiet wave building strength before it reaches the shore, like a truth gathering courage before it finally reveals itself. Listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, especially if you have been feeling a strange sense of anticipation, as if something unresolved is about to surface in a way that changes everything. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because when soulmate energy reaches a point where avoidance is no longer possible, circumstances begin shifting in ways neither person can control. The distance that once felt manageable begins feeling heavy. The silence that once felt comfortable begins feeling incomplete. Something inside the connection starts asking for honesty, asking for clarity, asking for emotional truth that can no longer remain hidden. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Because sometimes the universe allows confusion to last only until both souls are ready to face what they truly feel. You may have sensed the connection lingering in your thoughts even when you tried to focus elsewhere, felt memories returning unexpectedly, noticed how certain emotions remain present despite time or distance. Listen to this, because soulmate connections often carry an energetic thread that does not simply disappear. Even when communication pauses, the emotional awareness continues evolving, continues growing, continues guiding both individuals toward understanding that something meaningful still exists beneath the surface. Don't scroll, listen to this, because what is unfolding now may feel uncomfortable, but discomfort often appears right before emotional truth becomes visible. Something about this situation has been quietly reaching a turning point, where pretending nothing matters becomes harder than admitting something does. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because the connection you feel has never been completely ordinary. Ordinary connections fade easily, but soulmate bonds create reflection that continues long after conversation ends. They create awareness that something remains unfinished, something remains unsaid, something remains important enough to return to your thoughts again and again. Listen to this, because the universe often sends signs when emotional resolution is approaching. You may have noticed repeating angel numbers appearing during moments when your thoughts feel connected to this situation. 111 appearing when new understanding begins forming. 222 appearing when emotional balance is needed before clarity arrives. 333 appearing as reassurance that growth is taking place even when confusion feels present. 444 appearing as a reminder that you are being guided toward emotional alignment. 555 appearing as a sign that change is already unfolding even if you cannot yet see the full outcome. These signs are not random, they are signals that something meaningful is moving forward. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because sometimes the biggest emotional shifts happen quietly, long before the conversation actually takes place. Something inside both of you may already be recognizing that avoidance cannot continue forever. Feelings that were once uncertain may now feel undeniable. Thoughts that were once dismissed may now feel persistent. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because emotional truth often becomes stronger when time creates space for reflection. You may begin understanding why the connection felt significant from the beginning, why certain moments felt meaningful in ways difficult to explain, why letting go completely has felt more difficult than expected. Listen to this, because soulmate connections often create unfinished emotional chapters that eventually find their way back toward understanding. Something about this bond continues asking for clarity, asking for honesty, asking for recognition of what has remained beneath the surface. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe does not allow emotionally significant connections to remain unresolved forever. Something always brings truth into the open, whether through conversation, realization, or emotional awakening that creates new understanding. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Because the tension you may be feeling is often the sign that change is approaching. Something is shifting internally, something is evolving emotionally, something is preparing to reveal why this connection has felt impossible to completely ignore. Listen to this, because sometimes the moment before clarity feels the most uncertain, the most confusing, the most emotionally intense. But that intensity often signals transformation. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because what is unfolding now may finally answer questions that have remained quietly present in your heart. Something meaningful is moving forward, something that may soon explain why this connection has continued feeling significant despite everything that has happened. And the understanding that is approaching may reveal why this chapter needed to unfold exactly the way it did, preparing both of you for truth that can no longer remain hidden. Right when you thought the situation had settled into silence, something begins to stir again, like a quiet realization rising to the surface, like an emotion that can no longer remain hidden without creating even more tension. Listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, especially if you have been sensing that the connection is not as finished as it once appeared. There is a difference between something ending and something pausing, and deep down, part of you may already feel that this story has not reached its final chapter yet. Don't scroll, listen to this, because soulmate connections often create moments where avoidance feels easier temporarily, but never feels permanent. What is truly meaningful continues returning to awareness until clarity finally arrives. Something about this bond continues holding emotional weight, continues creating reflection, continues reminding both hearts that something important still exists beneath the surface. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because when emotions remain unresolved, the universe often begins creating situations that make it impossible to continue pretending nothing needs to be addressed. You may feel the energy shifting again, a sense that communication may soon return, a feeling that something once left unsaid may finally begin finding its voice. Listen to this, because when two people share a connection that carries depth, time often strengthens awareness rather than erasing it. Distance may create perspective, silence may create reflection, but emotional truth continues developing quietly until it reaches a point where honesty feels necessary. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because something inside this connection has been growing stronger, even without direct conversation. You may have noticed memories appearing unexpectedly, dreams bringing familiar emotions back into focus, intuitive thoughts reminding you of moments that once felt meaningful in ways difficult to explain. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because soulmate bonds often carry an energetic presence that does not disappear simply because communication becomes inconsistent. Instead, the emotional understanding continues evolving, preparing both individuals for a moment where clarity feels unavoidable. Listen to this, because the universe often sends signs when emotional resolution is approaching. You may have noticed repeating angel numbers appearing during moments when your thoughts feel connected to this person. 111 appearing when new beginnings are quietly forming. 222 appearing when emotional balance is being restored. 333 appearing as reassurance that spiritual growth is guiding the situation toward alignment. 444 appearing as protection surrounding the connection while understanding develops. 555 appearing as confirmation that change is already unfolding even if everything has not yet been revealed. These signs often appear when something meaningful is moving closer to clarity. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because sometimes emotional truth becomes impossible to ignore when both individuals begin realizing that avoidance has not removed the connection, it has only delayed the understanding of what the connection truly means. Something inside both hearts may now be recognizing that the bond has continued existing despite distance, despite silence, despite uncertainty. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Because unresolved emotions often create a pull that becomes stronger over time, encouraging honesty that creates emotional freedom instead of emotional confusion. Listen to this, because what once felt complicated may soon feel simpler than expected. Sometimes clarity arrives suddenly after long periods of uncertainty. Sometimes answers appear when both people are finally ready to face what they feel without hesitation. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because the universe does not create emotionally significant connections without purpose. Something about this situation continues encouraging growth, encouraging reflection, encouraging awareness that leads toward deeper understanding. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because the connection you feel has continued influencing your emotional awareness in ways that have helped you recognize what kind of communication truly feels meaningful. You are becoming more aware of what sincerity feels like, what emotional presence feels like, what real intention feels like. Listen to this, because soulmate connections often reach moments where both individuals begin recognizing that clarity is necessary in order for anything to move forward peacefully. Whether the path leads toward deeper understanding or toward emotional closure, truth always creates freedom. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because something about this connection has continued feeling unfinished, continued feeling significant, continued feeling important enough to deserve honesty. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because what is unfolding now may be the moment where everything begins making sense. Something is shifting within the connection, something is evolving within both of you, something is guiding this story toward clarity that allows both hearts to understand why this bond has felt impossible to completely ignore. Listen to this, because the answers you have been waiting for may already be closer than you realize, moving quietly toward the moment where everything becomes clear enough to finally bring emotional peace. Just when everything seemed uncertain, the energy begins shifting in a way that feels impossible to ignore, like the universe gently moving pieces into place, like something long delayed finally finding the courage to come forward. Listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, especially if you have been feeling a quiet sense that something important is about to be revealed. There are moments in soulmate connections where avoidance reaches its limit, where silence no longer feels comfortable, where emotions that were once pushed aside begin demanding recognition. Don't scroll, listen to this, because when feelings are real, they do not simply disappear without leaving a trace. They remain present beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to be understood honestly. Something within this connection has continued evolving even when communication felt distant, even when clarity felt delayed, even when uncertainty made everything feel complicated. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because emotional truth always finds its way into the light when both souls are ready to face what has been building quietly for so long. You may have felt moments of reflection recently, moments where memories appeared unexpectedly, moments where certain emotions felt stronger than usual without obvious explanation. Listen to this, because soulmate bonds often carry an energetic pull that continues guiding both people toward understanding, even when time or distance creates temporary confusion. Sometimes separation strengthens awareness rather than weakening connection. Sometimes silence reveals what presence could not fully explain. Don't scroll, listen to this, because something about this bond has continued encouraging growth, encouraging introspection, encouraging emotional maturity that allows honesty to feel less intimidating than avoidance. What once felt complicated may soon feel easier to understand. What once felt uncertain may soon feel clearer than expected. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Because the universe often creates moments where unresolved emotions rise to the surface so that both individuals can finally recognize what has been felt all along. You may notice signs appearing during moments when your thoughts feel connected to this situation, repeating angel numbers appearing as subtle reassurance that emotional alignment is unfolding. 111 may appear when new understanding begins forming. 222 may appear when balance is being restored. 333 may appear when spiritual growth is guiding both of you toward clarity. 444 may appear as protection surrounding the connection while truth reveals itself. 555 may appear as confirmation that change is already in motion even if everything has not yet been spoken openly. These signs are reminders that something meaningful is progressing quietly behind the scenes. Listen to this, because soulmate connections are not meant to remain in confusion forever. Something always shifts. Something always opens the path toward understanding. Sometimes the moment arrives when honesty feels easier than continuing to pretend nothing needs to be addressed. Don't scroll, listen to this, because emotional tension often reaches a peak right before clarity arrives. The discomfort you may have felt recently may actually be the signal that change is already beginning to unfold. Something that once felt distant may soon feel present again in a way that allows conversation, explanation, or emotional expression to finally occur. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because what feels uncertain now may soon reveal purpose that strengthens your understanding of why this connection has felt significant from the beginning. Sometimes the universe allows time to pass so that both individuals can gain perspective, so that both hearts can recognize what truly matters, so that both souls can approach the connection with greater awareness than before. Listen to this, because emotional truth becomes easier to express when understanding has had time to develop. The lessons learned during silence often prepare both individuals to communicate with more honesty, more sincerity, more clarity than would have been possible earlier. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the connection you feel has not existed without purpose. It has encouraged reflection, encouraged emotional awareness, encouraged growth that continues guiding both of you toward understanding that something meaningful still exists beneath the surface. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because what is unfolding now may be the beginning of clarity that answers questions you have been holding quietly. Something is moving forward within this connection, something that will reveal why the silence could not continue forever. Listen to this, because soulmate connections often create moments where everything begins making sense after long periods of uncertainty. The tension begins easing. The confusion begins fading. The truth begins becoming visible. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the understanding approaching now may finally reveal why this connection has remained present in your thoughts, why this bond has continued feeling unfinished, why this story has felt impossible to completely release. Something meaningful is unfolding, something that may soon bring the clarity your heart has been waiting to understand. Everything is about to make sense in a way you did not expect, in a way that finally connects the emotional pieces you have been carrying quietly, in a way that reveals why this connection has felt impossible to fully release no matter how much time has passed. Listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now. Especially if part of you has been feeling that something important was always left unfinished, something meaningful was always left unsaid, something real was always waiting for the right moment to finally come into the open. There are moments in life where silence is not the ending of the story but the preparation for truth, moments where distance does not erase connection but deepens the awareness of what truly matters, moments where emotional tension becomes the very force that pushes two souls toward clarity they can no longer avoid. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because soulmate connections are never random interruptions in your life, they are catalysts for growth, catalysts for emotional awakening, catalysts for understanding what kind of love truly aligns with the person you are becoming. What you have felt with this person has not been ordinary, not been temporary, not been meaningless, because ordinary connections do not create this level of reflection, this level of emotional awareness, this level of inner questioning that continues guiding you back to the same realization again and again. This message is for you, your heart needs this right now. Because something within this connection has been quietly transforming both of you, encouraging emotional maturity, encouraging self-awareness, encouraging clarity that only becomes possible when time creates space for understanding. Sometimes both people need distance to recognize what they truly feel. Sometimes both hearts need silence to understand what cannot be ignored forever. Listen to this. Because the universe often works in subtle ways, guiding situations toward alignment even when everything feels uncertain on the surface. You may have noticed how often your thoughts have returned to this connection without obvious reason, how certain memories have appeared unexpectedly, how certain emotions have remained present even when you tried to focus elsewhere. These experiences are not coincidence, they are signs of emotional significance that continues existing beneath the surface. Don't scroll, listen to this, because when two souls share a meaningful bond, the universe often creates moments where honesty becomes unavoidable, where emotional truth becomes easier to express than continued avoidance, where clarity becomes more comforting than uncertainty. Something about this connection has continued asking for recognition, asking for understanding, asking for emotional resolution that allows both people to finally know where they stand. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because unresolved emotions do not disappear, they transform into awareness that gently guides both individuals back toward the truth they have been sensing all along. Listen to this, because you may have already noticed signs appearing during moments when your thoughts felt especially connected to this situation, subtle reminders that something meaningful is still unfolding. Angel numbers appearing repeatedly are often interpreted as spiritual reassurance that emotional alignment is developing quietly. 111 may appear when new chapters begin forming beneath the surface. 222 may appear when balance is being restored between confusion and clarity. 333 may appear when emotional growth is encouraging honest expression. 444 may appear when protection is guiding both of you toward decisions that align with long-term peace. 555 may appear when change is already in motion even if the final outcome has not yet fully revealed itself. 888 may appear when emotional fulfillment begins aligning with stability. These signs often appear when something important is approaching resolution. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the tension you may have felt recently was never meant to remain permanent. Emotional pressure often builds right before clarity arrives, right before conversation becomes possible, right before understanding replaces uncertainty. Sometimes the universe allows both individuals to reach a point where pretending nothing matters becomes more difficult than finally acknowledging what has been felt all along. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now. Because something about this connection has continued encouraging growth within you, encouraging you to recognize what kind of communication feels genuine, what kind of effort feels sincere, what kind of emotional presence feels consistent. You are becoming more aware of what real connection feels like, more aware of what kind of energy supports your peace instead of disturbing it. Listen to this. Because soulmate connections often lead both people through phases of uncertainty before bringing them to moments of clarity that feel almost relieving, almost freeing, almost peaceful because truth finally replaces confusion. Don't scroll, listen to this, because sometimes what felt complicated was simply waiting for the right moment to become simple. Sometimes what felt distant was simply waiting for emotional readiness to bring everything back into alignment. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because something within this situation is reaching resolution that allows both of you to understand the purpose of what you have experienced together. Whether the path leads toward deeper commitment or toward emotional closure, clarity always creates freedom, freedom from wondering, freedom from guessing, freedom from carrying unanswered questions. Listen to this. Because the universe does not create connections with this level of emotional depth without reason. There is always growth, always awareness, always transformation that prepares both individuals for the next chapter of their emotional journey. Don't scroll, listen to this. Because the answers you have been searching for may soon appear in a way that feels natural, in a way that feels honest, in a way that finally explains why this connection has remained present in your heart despite uncertainty. This message is for you. Your heart needs this right now, because sometimes the ending of confusion becomes the beginning of peace. Sometimes the resolution of tension becomes the opening of a new chapter that feels lighter, clearer, easier to understand. Listen to this. Because whatever happens next will bring understanding that helps you trust the direction your life is moving. Something meaningful is unfolding, something that will finally reveal why this connection could never be completely ignored. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the clarity approaching now may be the very moment your heart realizes that everything you experienced was guiding you toward deeper awareness of what kind of love truly belongs in your life. And when the truth finally becomes visible, you may understand why this chapter needed to unfold exactly as it did, preparing you for emotional peace that feels steady, genuine, and aligned with the future that is meant for you.